This pact is a total win-win for Pakistan. Whosoever may say what they want to feel, but it is a win-win for Pakistan. By doing a strategic pact with Pakistan, Saudi Arabia actually has said that Pakistan's enemy is my enemy. I think the agreement is more Pakistan-based, and the problem is India. Pakistan today gets American weaponry. Pakistan today has Chinese weaponry. Pakistan will now get Saudi weaponry. What will happen is that Pakistan will supply troops to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia in turn will allow access to Pakistan. I mean, there could be a possibility where the Pakistanis could be actually piloting the F-15 fighters.
So, sir, considering that it's a complicated game, what can we expect India to do now? Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Hindustan Times and my name is Aisha Varma. On this segment of Point Blank, a major new mutual defense agreement between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia is raising eyebrows and questions across the region. With promises of shared security and veiled talk of nuclear protection, this pact shakes up old alliances and strategic calculations. And with Saudi Arabia's complex relationships in South Asia and beyond, the deal could have ripple effects that go far beyond the Gulf. In fact, with us, we have Mr. Shishir Gupta, the executive editor of Hindustan Times, to explain more about this. Sir, namaskar. Sir, first things first, how exactly do you see this mutual defense pact?
Okay, Aisha, I mean, this strategic mutual defense pact that Saudi Arabia Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has signed with Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on September 17th. This pact is a total win-win for Pakistan. Whosoever may say what they want to feel, but it is a win-win for Pakistan. It has serious ramifications for India, and it is not something that can be swept under the carpet. Now, first things first. Has China criticized the agreement? No. Has America criticized the agreement? No. So, what does one take from there? Second thing, this whole business saying that Saudi Arabia and Pakistan have formalized what was already existing is basically also papering over the cracks. I don't think so it is like that. See, what has happened is that Pakistan has an age-old relationship with Saudi Arabia. Now, that relationship goes way, way back into 1967, 1982, the advent of Taliban, and everywhere. Now, let me tell you where it goes. The Saudi princes used to come to Pakistan in Balochistan to hunt the nearly extinct Hobara bustard. That was in the 1980s and 1990s.
Okay.
Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have been very deeply linked up in defense and also in places other than that where the larger Ummah is involved or the Sunni Ummah is involved. So, Aisha, let me take you back to the closeness of Pakistan-Saudi Arabian ties.
Okay.
When the siege of Mecca happened in 1979, which was led by a radical group led by Juhayman al-Otaibi. Now, his followers subsequently were hunted out, but a whole lot of them moved into Pakistan. And they also moved into Afghanistan. This was one small section which subsequently transformed itself into the Salafi group, which is now Lashkar-e-Taiba. Second thing, when the Saudi intelligence was headed by Turki bin Faisal, Turkey later became the ambassador to US and ambassador to UK. Turkey was the key player against the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. He was one big factor who actually was part of this whole business of Taliban rising against the Soviet occupation. So, Saudi Arabia has been really deeply involved with Pakistan and what happens in Pakistan and Afghanistan and in this area also, considering that Iran is its biggest, one of the biggest adversary, being a Shia power.
Okay.
For Pakistan, Saudi Arabia is the place to go because it gives it legitimacy, because the Al Sauds are the custodians of the two holiest shrines of Islam. So it's a win-win for both, right? And the ties are much, much more deeper than that. And they have been since Pakistan came into being in 1947. Now, by doing a strategic pact with Pakistan, Saudi Arabia actually has said that Pakistan's enemy is my enemy, just as Saudi Arabia's enemy is Pakistan's enemy. That's exactly what you make out of it, right? The text of the agreement remains classified. It has not been released. But the Pakistani defense minister has talked about the nuclear umbrella for Saudi Arabia. Now, if you look at it, you look at it in two ways.
Okay.
And here it gets really complicated. The argument that the two countries have gone for a strategic mutual defense pact is triggered off by the Israeli attack on Qatar, which happened on September 9th when the Hamas leadership was targeted by the Israeli warplanes. Now, the same Qatar was blockaded by Saudi Arabia and the Sunni powers, right? Earlier. The same Qatar had no no diplomatic relationship with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, all these countries. So to say that, my once upon a time enemy has been targeted by my once upon a time enemy, Israel, and I have forged a pact with Pakistan, it really doesn't make sense in this way. Now, you can also argue that, it is because earlier US was the net security guarantor for the Middle East. Now that US has taken a step back, it is for Pakistan which has taken a step ahead with Saudi Arabia and has now become a rent-an army for Saudi Arabia. Pakistan has in the past supplied troops to Saudi Arabia. Former Pakistan Army Chief Rail Sharif, heads the 41-member coalition counterterrorism force over there. Pakistan's prime ministers go for exile over there before they again come back and politically resurrect themselves, like Nawaz Sharif. So Pakistan has had a huge relationship with Saudi Arabia, and here the total beneficiary is Pakistan. Because Pakistan already has a credit of nearly 9.13 billion from Saudi Arabia. It will get more money that it requires. It will now have access to the Saudi Arabian equipment, which is top of the line fighters. So it is not a good place for India to be in. Now, to say that it is an agreement which is more Saudi based, I don't think so. I think the agreement is more Pakistan based, and the problem is India. So this is where it stands, and it is not a good position to be in, despite the fact that Saudi and India are close partners, very close partners. They are part of the Strategic Partnership Council. The two leaders get together very well. Saudi has investments in India. India has investments in Saudi. There is a huge diaspora over there. All that is fine. But this pact is a total win for Pakistan.
So then, sir, keeping all of these points in mind, how exactly can we expect Saudi Arabia to balance ties with India, and how exactly does India view this deal?
See, fact of the matter is that I am told that the Saudi Arabians informed us about the pact that is going to come with Pakistan.
Okay.
I am told that we were analyzing the entire thing as to what does it really mean for India. But Saudi Arabia and India have a relationship where the two actually even have defense ties. Right? Now, all this is all fine, but the dynamics of this agreement, where Pakistan today gets American weaponry, Pakistan today has Chinese weaponry, Pakistan will now get Saudi weaponry. So it does not look good for India. And it is for Saudi Arabia to take steps to ensure that its close ally partner India does not take an adversarial view on the entire thing that is being played out right now. See, there are multiple things happening over there. First of all is that the entire upheaval in the Middle East started with the October 7, 2023 attack, the terror attack that Hamas did on Israel. After that, the Iranians jumped in. After that, there was a counter-retaliation on Iran. After that, the Houthis jumped in. After that, you had this Iranian counterattack. After that, the Americans attacked Iran. And in between, there was a short missile skirmish in January 2024 between Iran and Pakistan. So all this jumbled up play is right now going on. And in between, you had Pakistan forming an alliance with one of the biggest adversaries of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Pakistan, Malaysia. Malaysia actually held a conference of the Muslim states. So it's one hell of a complicated play. But at the end of the day, this particular pact is not good for India, simply because it allows Pakistan to have access to the American weaponry that Saudi Arabia has. Now, you can argue that saying that, there is an end-user pact. But the end-user pact is between the supplier and the consumer. That is, in this case, US or the British, because they've been using F-15 fighters, they've been using Tornado, and Saudi Arabia, not with Pakistan. So what will happen is that Pakistan will supply troops to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, in turn, will allow access to Pakistan. I mean, there could be a possibility where the Pakistanis could be actually piloting the F-15 fighters, which is the top of the line fighters. So I think somewhere down the line, this is really not good. Now look at it, if you were to look at it, suppose Operation Sindoor now happens. Will Saudi Arabia allow fighters to Pakistan? Because it says that, your enemy is my enemy. So it's a matter of serious concern for India. India and Saudi Arabia, I reiterate again, are close allies. The two need to talk to each other, and the two need to, thrash this thing out. Because here, Pakistan gets weaponry, Pakistan gets money, Pakistan gets everything that comes with a power like Saudi Arabia, which is oil rich and has lots of money to spare. And beyond this are the Americans, who are standing behind Saudi Arabia and now, incidentally, have decided to stand behind Pakistan.
Sir, you had mentioned, and this is a fact, that the details of this pact it is classified. But, as you have been mentioning and referring to, there is one statement that is causing alarm. I want to refer to it specifically. It's a key clause of the pact, that any aggression against either country shall be considered an aggression against both. This is being compared to NATO's an attack on one, isn't it? An attack on all. What do you think the wider implications of this will be in the Middle East?
See, the issue saying that this is limited to Middle East is not correct.
Okay.
Okay. The point in this is that, first of all, is Israel going to attack Saudi Arabia? No. Is Pakistan going to attack Israel because of Saudi Arabia? No. Is Pakistan going to attack Qatar? No. So, I mean, what is this business of Muslim NATO with a country which is deep down in debt, which hardly can take care of its own people, trying to be the leader of Muslim NATO? That's utter nonsense. Okay? This is a play simply between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan will do anything to ensure that India is put on the mat. So, look at Pakistan. Pakistan goes to China. They attend the military parade. Pakistan has 80% of the weaponry now coming from China. The Pakistan Army Chief, the Field Marshal goes to Washington to meet President Trump. The man was present when the Strategic Defense Pact was signed with Saudi Arabia. So, Pakistan is playing to protect itself. It is not about protecting Saudi Arabia. All it can do is supply troops to Saudi Arabia. Nothing beyond that. So, the fact remains it's not about Middle East. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's all about Pakistan, and it's all about Pakistan-India.
So, beyond this, Pakistan's Defense Minister Khwaja Asif has made a statement saying that they would give a nuclear umbrella to Saudi Arabia. Tell us more about what this means.
See, this is a very, very damaging statement on part of Pakistan.
Okay.
Khwaja Asif, I do not know how much of control does he have on the nuclear assets of Pakistan. But what he's actually implying is that Saudi Arabia, which has signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty in 1988, gets nuclear assets of Pakistan, which has not signed the NPT. So essentially, both Saudi Arabia as well as Pakistan are in violation of the non-proliferation regime. Saudi Arabia is a signatory to NPT. It is for a nuclear-free Middle East. Pakistan has always been a rogue state when it comes to nuclear issues. It built its nuclear capacity using countries like China, North Korea, Netherlands, and you all remember the famous AQ Khan network, Abdul Qadir Khan network, where the centrifuges were got from Netherlands. China gave the trigger, and you had presto, a nuclear power over there, just to ensure that India does not take its rightful position on the high table. So, it's a very complicated game, and it is for the nuclear weapon states that should take notice of this agreement. They should ask Saudi Arabia clearly, ask Pakistan clearly as to what do they mean when they talk about a nuclear umbrella.
Okay.
And if Pakistan is going to supply Saudi Arabia with either nuclear power or nuclear weapons, what will it do to Middle East is mind-boggling. What will it do to Iran? It again is mind-boggling. So these are very loose statements made by people who do not really understand the ramifications of what we are talking about. And that's typical of Pakistan, because if nothing works, they go nuclear.
So, sir, considering that it's a complicated game, what can we expect India to do now?
See, I am told India has taken up this issue very seriously with Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I am also told that it is for Saudi Arabia to take action and assuage the Indian concerns over the pact, because India and Saudi Arabia are very close allies also. One way that this can be handled to the mutual sensitivities of both Saudi Arabia and India is that Saudi Arabia makes an exception that this pact is not targeted against India. Second, it can make an exception that its frontline fighters will not be used by Pakistan against India. That is the only way where the two sides can again come up very closely with each other. Because there is no way that India will allow Pakistan to gain an upper hand, whether it comes to Middle East or whether it comes to the Indian subcontinent.
Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for providing us with all of this crucial and important insight when it comes to this deal. We will, of course, continue to track the ripple effects of this strategic deal. But with that, it's a wrap. Do stay tuned to Hindustan Times.